Hello and welcome to Anime Rewind. My name is John Trent. I am the editor-in-chief at Bounding Into Comics, and I am joined by my co-host Spencer Bakuli. How are you doing today?
Doing well, doing well. I know we got a little bit late to the party, and that's my fault. I had a work meeting. Sorry, everybody. But I'm doing well. Glad to be here after last week's little break.
Oh, it's not just your fault. I started a little late too. I was working on a story that took me a little late, so I didn't even get started. We probably would have been on time if I hadn't been doing that.
Attention.
But yeah, no, I'm glad you're having a good day. So let's just kind of get right into it. We are reviewing episode 13, Big Trouble, Domon vs. Big Five. This is a spoiler review, so we're just gonna get into we're gonna summarize what happens in this episode, and then we'll get into our discussions about it. So basically what happens is it's almost like a continuation from the last episode. Yeah. I was like, whoa,
I was surprised about that too. Yeah,
I kind of enjoyed that a little bit. But so we get to see Master Asia and Domon in their Gundams, and then Master Asia's kind of out of his Gundam. They're fighting the Death Army that is continually to attack them in their position in this one lone standing business building in Tokyo. And then they discover that there is someone playing the piano. They're getting a message, and they believe that it is a survivor. So their team hatches a plan to try and rescue the survivors. The plan is just Master Asia and Domon. And we get some interesting camera shots to be like, is this really like a good thing, or is there something more suspicious happening here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get some pretty awesome fight sequences with Domon and Master Asia fighting the Death Army. And we got that in the little beginning as well, with them moving through Tokyo, through the city towards this communications tower. And then Master Asia decides to exit his Gundam and then let's race Domon to the communications tower. And Domon's like, yes, I'm an idiot. Let me go and
do that too.
Let me get out of my Gundam and race you too. And then as he gets out of the Gundam, Rain and the other Rain discovers that there's 4 other Gundam signatures on her radar that she picks up. She rushes to Domon's location. Doesn't have to face any of the Death Army, obviously, because Domon and Master Asia had whacked them out.
Yeah.
She warns Domon. Domon's like, you're stupid. Stay at the Gundam. I'm going after. I gotta beat him. And typical Domon rushing in head first. Stupid. And then he ends up being ambushed by the quote unquote Big Five, which is really the Big Four. And it appears that it's George Dasan, Sai Saichi, Argo, and Chibodee Crocket, who we've seen previously. And then we get a little bit of Rain kind of in the Gundam. And then she's attacked by this mysterious 5th Gundam that has this ability to do the Darkness Finger. And then eventually, after Rain is attacked, we get a fight with Domon against the 4 Gundam fighters, not in the Gundams, they're in person. Rain is in Domon. She gets in Domon's Gundam, puts on the suit, fights off some of the Death Army, crashes into the communications tower after she's attacked by this 5th Gundam, or we think it's a Gundam. It looks like a Gundam. And then Domon gets in the Gundam with her, and they fight off this 5th Gundam who attacks them with Darkness Finger. It's overpowering Domon's Shining Finger, and then they do a combo a
sort of a dance almost.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a dance, and then they looks like they might have beat it off, and then all the other Gundams disappear after that.
Yeah,
and then Master Asia shows up and is like, "You did well," or something like that, and then the episode ends.
Yep.
So that's the gist of the episode. So let's just we'll start off with favorite parts. Or no, let's do initial reaction first. So what was your initial reaction to this episode?
Yeah. So initial reaction, so at the very beginning with the Master Asia stuff and the Domon stuff, I really loved all that. I mean, anytime, I just love Master Asia's fighting style. He's so wild and crazy. I loved when he was running and like his scarf was like circling him, and then it circled the Gundam, and then all of a sudden he had a giant Gundam-sized scarf. Like that was hilarious. It got kind of weak. I was kind of a little disappointed that when we met everybody again, like Sai Saichi and George, it wasn't a Gundam fight. Like they show up and then they disappear. So that was
the title's a little misleading.
Yeah, exactly. Especially from the title and the preview from last week, I was expecting some more action or some more Gundam action. So that was a little disappointing, but pretty much everything. I thought this was a pretty good episode, to be honest, at least action-wise.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I really enjoyed the action. They really did a good job, like you were saying, of showing that, like, and this is something I've praised before, is they show the way they transition with the animation. You get to see them like kind of doing the animation in the Gundam, and then they like inside of the Gundam, and then they zoom out and show you the Gundam is doing it as well. Like you pointed out with the he does like a Sonic move.
Yeah, yeah.
Move.
The running ring thing.
Yeah, running rings, and then we got to see Rain in the Gundam and her using the sword and stuff like that. I like that. I really did like, again, the action. They were going in with the Dragon Ball Shonen style attacks. We got to see Chibodee launch like some like
energy punch or something.
Punch, yeah, energy fist punch.
That was like the first time we've seen a physical special attack since the first episode, I think.
No, we saw it last week with
that's right.
Master Asia.
That's right.
And Master Asia was doing some stuff here too in the beginning. I think
he
was. But yeah, besides that, that was the first time that we've seen anyone outside of Master Asia and the other Italian guy doing it. So I really like that. I think yes, I agree with you. It was a little bit weak with that. We didn't get to see the them fight in their Gundams. That's kind of what the episode was hinting at. We would get to see them fighting in their Gundams. We didn't get to see that. I was also kind of just a little disappointed in the character development of Domon. I don't know. We're 13 episodes in now. It's time that he actually begins relying on Rain and trusting her opinion a little bit more, instead of just, especially after she saved him so many times, because he's made these boneheaded, idiotic decisions of just like going out and like getting himself in trouble. I don't know. I'm kind of a little over that. I'm just like, all right, dude. I'm like rolling my eyes. Like, of course you're gonna go off by yourself when she's literally telling you there's 4 Gundams that are there, and like it looks like it's a trap or whatever. Like, come on, like.
Especially because when has it not been a trap? Every moment so far has been a trap. Even when he goes back to even when he goes back to the Japan colony, it's a trap to get him in that weird mind psychosis.
Yeah, to unleash the golden Gundam or whatever. I think what do they call it? The Ultimate Gundam or something like that. Like
Super Shining or like True Shining.
Super Shining, you might be right.
Shining, I think that's what
Super Shining is right. Like Super Saiyan. That's
exactly. Super original.
But other than like the fact that the whole like his encounter in the subway is like contrived because of his idiocy, I did like that he still played stupid in the subway.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, it's a trap. Like, I can't believe it. Like they're targeting me.
Also,
and then he's like, who's behind this? Who could it be? And he just
there's also the moment where he's like, what's that? A train coming at me. What's that? Another train coming from the opposite direction. And then he kind of just stands there.
Yeah. So, that was a little weak there too. But I did I liked how there were like different like obstacles that he had to face.
Yeah.
In contrast to like our Trek Tuesday discussion, he was dealing with like puzzles that he had to like kind of solve. Like he's like, oh, there's 2 trains. Which one is going faster? He makes the decision, jumps over it, and like does his rescue thing. And then I don't know. It just the games that it was very similar. He's like trapped in this like maze puzzle, and he had to figure out his way out of it. And he still kind of wanders around. I just thought it was a little bit better done than Move Along Home that we reviewed on Tuesday.
I would agree with that.
But yeah, I mean, I think the action was really good, and it kind of covers for the fact that the characterization of Domon and a little bit of the storytelling was weaker. So that's kind of my initial reaction there.
Yeah, no, but I can agree with all of that.
But what was your favorite part? I mean, we've kind of probably
Yeah.
already said it with the action, but
Yeah, it was definitely the action. I loved the very first fight with Master Asia against the Gundams, and I honestly loved seeing Rain take control of the Shining Gundam.
yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I also,
The
it was
line that she uses is cool. She's like,
yeah,
you'll know to fear women now, or something, or
yeah,
women aren't to be messed with, or something like that.
or like you'll like face the power of something like that.
Yeah,
Something about like I'm a woman in here, get ready to get your ass kicked.
yeah.
And so I really loved
and
that.
It was like right after they did like the animation where she was like,
where she like transforms and stuff.
Yeah, that was cool too. I liked how it was like she was struggling to get into it and realizing like how like you physically like, just to like be a Gundam pilot, you have to have the physical like strength to go through that. I thought that was kind of
just the process of being like pulled down and like getting the thing attached to you. But yeah, and I love
like, it's Gundam. Tight.
Yeah, it's tight. I would assume so. But I did like that the Gundams were kind of used in different, like they didn't just fight straight on in this episode, especially against the Dark Army. Like the part that stands out to me is when there's a Dark Army mobile suit kind of walking around and Domon hits him through a building with his beam saber. Like I loved that. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, we got a lot of unique varieties in the kills and how they how they attacked the Death Army mobile suits. And I think there's all the action in general was like very different. So while they're in that subway, like you mentioned before, they're in the subway, the two trains are coming at each other. He avoids that, but then he gets into this like roundabout where there's like multiple tracks that can go in multiple different directions. And instead of just having like the two trains coming at him, he's dealing with like 20 trains coming at him. And then you get like a Chibodee, and it's like Argo is like throwing the trains. Is what it seems like.
Super strong.
So you get that, and then you have Chibodee coming in with like his like fist punch, and then Sai Saichi shows up, and I guess he's just doing stuff on like a computer. Here's the one.
He like kicks at Domon really fast.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. Yeah, like,
I guess that's all it is from Sai Saichi.
Yeah, we don't get much from him.
Thankfully.
But yeah, sorry, I interrupted you there. Keep going about your favorite part.
No, that was basically it. It was just the beam saber through the building and Master Asia's the way he took out the Gundam in the very beginning by like cracking its eyeball and then throwing a bomb into it. I just loved it.
Yeah, was it a bomb? It looked like it was like the head of a mace.
Yeah, it looked like a head of a mace to me, but then there was an explosion, so I kind of assumed maybe it was like a mace bomb, or maybe it was just, the fact that this giant mace crushed into your head that it was exploding.
Yeah, that's what I just figured. It was like the mace head like blowing up the cockpit or whatever. Or the
that makes a lot more sense now in retrospect.
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been a bomb too. Who knows?
Knowing Gundam, it might have been both.
As for me, my favorite part, I really liked when they went on the mission and they were like Master Asia was running through through Tokyo. So like you talked about it where he does the sonic roll, but there's also a part where like he's in his Gundam and he's like jumping off the rocks, and it was just like really like the animation was really fluid and it looked really cool, and especially when you had it like they had it contrasted with Domon moving where he's just much more rigid, where Master Asia is very fluid, graceful. All his movements have like flow really well together, and then he was like he would move in from like jumping through like the different like debris in the city to like attacking them with his like his rap whip or whatever.
It's exactly like you said, like every movement from Master Asia has a purpose. Like you can even see that in when they're jumping, his arms are crossed. Like the Gundam's arms are crossed while they're jumping. I thought that was great.
Yeah, and that goes back to the fact that like when you see them in the cockpits, it reflects the Gundam too, and I really like that. Doing. I really like that part of G Gundam. That's really unique.
It's like it's always been the like most it's always been the piloting system in mech animes or mech things, like even Mech Warrior. Like it's the piloting mechanism that makes the most sense to me, because I just never understood how normal joysticks could make your arm rotate in all these directions and swing swords, Yeah. I mean, Pacific Rim even has that problem. I feel like with their whatever the system that they have, where you need two people or whatever. I forget what it's called.
But they actually have it where your motions match your
Match your suit or robot.
what are they called?
Jaeger?
They have a Jaegers. Yeah,
Jaegers. Yeah.
It. So another one of my favorite parts was the actual design of this. Whatever, I don't even know. We don't know what they didn't tell us what the name of this Gundam is. But the Gundam that uses the darkness finger, that design is like really cool.
Yeah.
And it also played into the horror elements that you talked about last week, where you got the guy this like flame, like was lit on fire by Master Asia when he like snapped his fingers at him. But you'd have like this scene where like, and they did a really good, and the way it was filmed, so like Rain would like defeated these like Death Army mobile suits, began flying towards the communications tower, and then she like looks back and you like see this like the dark, like the darkness was like creeping up, like the shadow of and then it zoomed out and you see that this Gundam is like huge over top of the Shining Gundam, and it's like gonna overtake her, and then I think it like cuts back to Rain again, and it's like and then it like cuts away, and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? It had that like kind of like jump scare cut, and I like that. And then you also had like the creepy like the green eyes like following Domon when he got out of his like once Rain was there, and like following Domon when he went into the subway, and then you had a little bit of it before as well. I think they showed it when Rain was getting into the Gundam. I think you saw like the creepy eyes. So I like the horror element that they had in there too. I enjoyed that.
Kind of like stalking Domon and Rain the entire way.
Yeah, and you're just like. Way. And then at one point you see that it's like it looks like it's Sai Saichi following them because you get like the eye in the sky in the subway, and so you get that too. So like there's all these, and it's all different types of tech that's kind of creeping on them. And it's just like the way it's shot, it's kind of creepy. Skullman is asking us about a completely different anime. We're not talking about One Punch Man. I'll be honest, I haven't watched any One Punch Man, so I can't
like
really.
It's good, but yes, we're not talking about that. Wait, that's good.
I like how there was also like there's mystery too. So, like we're just like Domon. It's like what the hell is going on with George Dasan, Sai Saichi, Argo, and Chibodee? Like these guys are just like crazy powerful now. And you're just like, what is going on? Are they infected by Kyoji and the Devil Gundam, or is like at the end they basically answer all they ask the questions that you have on your mind anyways with the announcer. They're like, or is it someone else at play or whatever? And I'm just like, man, you're taking away all the questions.
Just let us find out. Yeah.
Yeah. So they already have those questions that you have as an audience, and that Domon and Rain have too. Like what's going on? Obviously, one of the things that I thought was really obvious was that and I said this last week, there's something up with Master Asia.
Yeah.
The fact that like, especially when he's in the subway or whatever, he's like, they're targeting me. What could be going on? He like doesn't think that it's like Master Asia at all, who's like the guy that like suggested the rescue mission, specifically recruits him, tells him to get out of his Gundam to try like convince him to get out of his Gundam. It's like, who could it be? Like this guy's done all these things. So like the reveal that he's gonna like, and then at the end they basically give it away that in the preview they give it away, but for the next episode. But it's I feel like that's gonna just take away a little bit of that shock factor.
I definitely would have loved to see the alternate universe where you and I just like came upon that as we were watching. I think we would have both like lost our minds.
Yeah, if they hadn't really made it so obvious. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In the storytelling, yeah, because that would have been like a huge. That's like it's a huge heel turn, is what they're. Yeah. It looks like that's what they're leading up to, at least.
Looks like. I mean,
we can't confirm it, but it looks pretty obvious based on the preview and everything else so far. So what was your least favorite part about this episode?
Yeah, like I think I said it in the beginning. My least favorite part was, kind of the fact that we got we didn't see everybody fighting Gundams.
Yeah. Like
the other four, they kind of just showed up, posed, and disappeared. It looks like next week we'll get the action finally, but the fact that it was sort of teased that it was Domon. I mean, the title is even, versus the Big Five.
Yeah.
So I assumed that we would have gotten some action. That was probably my biggest disappointment.
the Big Five of the Death Army mobile suits.
Yes, exactly.
That's what it really was.
It really was just that. What was your favorite part?
My least favorite?
Yeah.
I think the subway sequence, because it was just so contrived. And then I don't know. I really am like, I'm over like Domon just being an idiot. I want to see like him be like, oh, I've done like, this is what I did when I faced Chibodee last time, and I almost got assassinated by Secret Service agents.
So maybe I should think a little bit before running into a subway tunnel.
Yeah, and Rain saved me. There, like, what else did like all? There's all these like, there's like every episode almost. Rain like does something, like tells him like you shouldn't be doing this, and then she's proven right. I think in Canada he like goes head first, and she's like, no, you shouldn't do that. You should like wait or whatever, and he gets like ambushed by the Canadian guy. I mean, he's been like almost killed like multiple times in Mexico too. She's like, no, don't leave. She's like, don't do this. Like, we're trying to save this guy right now. And then in Constantinople or Istanbul or whatever the city is called that I can't remember. They're in Turkey though.
Yeah,
I think they call it Istanbul. I don't remember.
It's one of them at the time.
Yeah. So the Hagia Sophia is there, but in that one too, he goes off and he's almost like and puts Rain in danger with this guy who like could like attack her, and he does, and almost like kills Rain because he's not there because he went off to like find the Gundam fighter instead of like trying to like protect her as a teammate. So I mean, he hasn't learned his lesson yet. He keeps making the same mistake. So that's like that's a big problem for me. I'm ready for him to finally like learn his lesson. Rain needs to like slap some sense into him. Maybe the fact that she was actually in the Gundam.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
And like literally used made his shining finger attack even more powerful. That maybe he'll start listening to what she has to say.
I feel like there'll be some sort of weird like Gundam fighter honor code that now Rain's a part of because she piloted it. That Domon will start giving her a little bit more, I wouldn't say respect, but he'll start listening to her more. Yeah,
I hope so. Because the line that she gives when she gets in the Gundam was like, I felt like it was directed at Domon.
Oh no, that was directly at him.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was just really weak for me, and I thought the dialogue was kind of just.
The dialogue was a little iffy throughout all of it.
Obviously it's a cartoon or an anime cartoon, and
but still,
yeah,
there's a certain extent. But no, I agree. Yeah. There were some moments where, like, I think the one that sticks out to me the most is when the mayor type person is freaking out in the control center. He just kind of
the orange guy who has like the orange skin.
Yep. He kind of just rambles a little bit. He's like, "Oh, they're Gundam fighters. That's what they told me. Do you believe that they'll survive? Huh? Well, do you?" And it's like, that's so awkward. You guys are just trying to fill time.
I don't know. That guy. I think that guy was supposed to be like comedic relief because he's so panicky and like they're making fun of bureaucrats.
That makes a lot of sense.
To me, that was just like a criticism of bureaucrats. I feel like that's kind of a normal criticism when it actually comes down to like the hard brass, hard tacks. Like bureaucrats are usually not the ones who are going to be making like tough decisions. They usually crack under the pressure, and they have to rely on people like Master Asia, who are like military commanders to really like who are the ones that are going to be making those decisions.
Did you during that scene? Did you also get a Star Warsy feel, especially from the guy who's like, "What? We can't do that." Like I was like. Yeah. This is exactly that first scene from
that was new. That was totally the New Hope like planning scene when they're about to like go into the Death Star. Yeah, that was. You could see that they definitely homaged that, which was not. I like that. I did
too. I did too.
I mean, I love those Star Wars films. So yeah, that was a great homage. I thought because it was like even like in like the circle they like while they weren't like in like the circle like they were in New Hope, like the building was like circular, like the room they were in was kind of circular.
It was like a half circle at least. There was stuff that the map was still in the middle.
and they were like planning it out and everything. I like that.
And that was an open discussion among all the ranks.
Yeah, that was good. All right, so what would you? I mean, do you have anything else that you wanted to bring up for this episode?
Just there's one scene where I think it's right when Rain gets left behind by Domon, like when he runs into the subway. She's like standing in the Shining Gundam, and you see Master Asia's Kowloon Gundam kind of just like peek a little bit through the buildings as if he's spying on her. And I just thought the concept of like a Gundam being able to sneak up on anybody was just kind of funny.
Was that his Gundam? I couldn't tell. I thought that it was his, but I wasn't sure.
Maybe it wasn't his. Maybe it was the evil black one from the end, because I think you maybe referenced that. But whatever the eyes were,
they were like green, right?
Yeah, I think they were green.
Yeah, I can see that. But like, you're also in like a ruined city. And
yeah. I mean, it wasn't enough to sort of take me out of it, and it didn't not make sense. It was just sort of like funny to see that somebody could be snuck up on by a giant skyscraper-sized robot.
I see that. I see that. All right. What's your final rating for this episode?
I would probably give this rating probably a solid 7.
Okay.
Again, I'm with you on the subway scene, and
Uh-oh. Did we lose you? You there, Spencer? Uh-oh. Spencer, are you there? Oh.
Let's kick that ghost.
Yeah. Oh.
Got him.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, sorry, I accidentally closed my laptop.
Oh no. Okay, so you were saying you were giving it a 7, and you're talking about the
solid
subway
7. I agree with you in the subway scene that it was kind of meh. And then, of course, everybody's already heard me go on about how I wish the other Gundam pilots actually piloted their Gundams. But I did like most of this episode. I just think that for what it promised last week, it didn't deliver everything.
Yeah. I'm kind of right there with you. I'm a little lower. I'm at a 6.
Seems about right.
I thought the action was really good. I thought some of the subway storytelling was a little weak. The dialogue in that part was kind of weak. I think the expectation that we were going to see a really big, huge 5-way, 6-way Gundam fight that they kind of teased, we didn't get it. It's kind of, I mean, I think you can, like, obviously that's an expectation that we're bringing into it, but I think that's something that they built up. I think that's something that you can definitely knock them on. And then the characterization of Domon was just, I don't know. I'm dude, learn from your mistakes now. Yeah. I'm ready for you to learn on. I mean, when you do it 3, 4, 5 times, it's almost like you're a complete dunce and idiot and you can't learn. So
let's learn something here.
And if he's not going to learn, and you're playing and you're in a war, or you're in this Gundam fight, you probably should get beaten pretty bad.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm ready for that to happen if that's what they're going for. But I really did like the animation. I liked Master Asia moving around. I liked the sonic spin. I liked, like you said, the attack with the saber through the building. The Star Wars homage, that was really nice as well. I liked everything about Rain. I think Rain is actually probably like the true hero of the show right now, I want to say.
At this point, I would absolutely agree with you.
Like, I'm rooting for her like way more than I do like Domon now. Like when Domon makes decisions, I'm like beating my head against the wall. Like now. Like, what are you doing?
It's like she's taking care of a child, like a very dumb child.
Yeah, and like now she's like, she's gonna be like, dude, if you don't shape up, I'm gonna be the Gundam pilot now. You better watch out. You're gonna be stuck outside. Right? So 6. I think that it could have definitely been a lot more improved. But I did like, as much as I didn't like the subway scene as far as like Domon being an idiot and the dialogue being a little cringy. I like that he had like he had some actually like challenging. He had to overcome like the trains coming at him, Argo throwing the trains at him, Chibodee's like crazy punches and stuff like that, or at least be able to like bear them and like keep moving on. And trying to
like he had to show his skills more than just crushing somebody's head with a shining finger.
Yeah, and it also showed his determination to rescue these people that he thought were lost. We didn't really talk about that, but I did like that he was like, "Oh, I'm here to rescue you." When he hears the piano,
yeah,
like, he really did want to try and rescue.
I also did. That was probably the one aspect of that whole ambush that I liked, was that George was the one playing the piano. Because it was like mysterious up until you found out it was him.
I mean,
kind of.
In the beginning of the episode, it was him. I didn't think there was. I didn't think there was any mystery.
I for some reason didn't make that connection that was George in the beginning. I have no idea why. Like, that literally just came. Like, you telling me that made me realize that, and I don't know why. So I'm a big dumb and ignore what I just said.
Oh, because it was, they had his hair, his character silhouette, they zoomed in on it.
I think I didn't notice like that it was him. I think like I looked down to like eat something, and then I looked back up and it was just the piano. So I assumed it was like mysterious, but no, never mind, everyone.
Yeah, it was definitely George, or someone looking like George, which we still don't know if these are actually them or if there's some kind of zombie type creatures or something like that. Because Sai Saichi's eyes were like red at one point,
and so were Chibodee's.
Chibodee's,
like really small.
Yeah, so we don't, and we know that there's like crazy duplication powers that the Devil Gundam can do.
Yeah,
and who knows?
They're dead. I think maybe they're clones, like you said, but I don't think
clones are somehow like brainwashed or something. I mean, we saw this like darkness finger. We don't know what that was doing. It was some kind of like dark energy, but we don't know like what it was doing. And I'm like, I did like that too. The darkness versus the shining, the duality.
Yeah, I like that too.
So the kind of hints that this Gundam is definitely going to be a match for Domon, and his shining finger doesn't always work. So that was one good thing.
That was a good thing. Yes,
didn't always work. Although it knocked him away, we still saw that Gundam didn't get damaged or wasn't destroyed.
It just kind of got blown away or decided to retreat or something.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. We do this every Friday around between 4 and 5 p.m. I guess we started a little late today. But next week we'll be doing, did I write it down here? Next week is episode 14, and I think it's called like Shining Finger Defeated or something like that.
Yes, shocking. Shining Finger Defeated.
Yes, shocking. Yeah, I like it. Shocking is in the title. So thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next Friday for Anime Rewind. Y'all have a great weekend.
Yeah, have a good weekend, everyone.